What is going on with this red heifer in Israel? I mean, something happened on July 1st. You may have seen some videos like this one.
And you just got back from Israel and you guys did that ceremony, right?
Yeah, I actually have some ash in my pocket.
What?
Yeah, let me see if I can dig it out.
You brought the cow's ashes with you?
Yeah, he brought the cow's ashes with him.
So this is the red heifer ash that came from the July 1st ceremony of the red heifer.
Okay, so my name's Yeshua. I'm a Jew living in Israel. I'm a Temple Mount activist. If you want to support what I do, check out the description. I'm going to clear up all this confusion and explain to you what's really going on with this red heifer. This is from the Torah in Sefer Bamidbar. It's Numbers chapter 19. This is a red cow which is slaughtered and burned, and its ashes are used to purify people who are tamei mate, which means ritually impure from contact with a dead body. And this is so that they can enter into a specific area where the temple is located on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Now, the clip I just showed you is from a show called Deep Dive with Sarah Forgani. And she's interviewing a Christian from Texas named Byron Stinson. Now, Stinson is a team leader of an organization called Boneh Israel. Several years ago, they began searching for the red heifer in the United States. And they found a rancher who'd been raising some very interesting cows. What? No, not those cows, not the red ones, the red ones. This rancher had actually been breeding these cows to be perfectly red, and 5 of them were brought to Israel in 2022. And then on July 1st, 2025, what was originally described as a practice run took place. So the first time I heard that there was something maybe a little different going on here was when I saw this clip of a Jew named Adam King, who appeared on Timcast on August 14th. Now, according to King, they were originally planning on using a disqualified cow for this practice run, but
the red heifer people, they fooled everybody, and they successfully performed the ritual about a month ago.
And again, he pulls out a bag of ashes.
It was a real offering. They did it all by the laws, and I have with me some of the ashes right here, red heifer ashes.
Yeah, and this is all a bunch of bull. I'm going to explain to you why. The Temple Institute put out another statement on this recently. It was on November 12th. And I'm going to put the whole statement up on the screen right now if you want to pause it and read it. But don't worry, I'm going to go over this statement and expound on some of the details here. And I'm also going to get into some of the, well, kind of extraordinary claims that Stinson and others are making about these ashes and maybe why they're doing it. So stick around to the end. It's going to be interesting.
Bottom line, we have these ashes, and they have shown that they have power.
Anyway, as I'm sure many of you know, the Temple Institute has been involved in all things temple-related for decades, studying all the laws and teaching, and making items for the temple. And they've also been involved, of course, with this red heifer. And they have consistently said from the beginning that this was a test run with a disqualified animal. Let's take a look now at the statement. Let's go to point number 3. Of course, ashes of the red heifer that are not made on the Mount of Olives while facing the site of the Holy Temple are completely invalid. And they quote a couple of sources there from the Mishnah and also from the Mishnah Torah, if you want to look those up. So if it wasn't on the Mount of Olives, it's not valid. Full stop. That's it. You don't need any other reasons. It must be on the Mount of Olives. Okay, so what is this? Is this just like something the rabbis are making up? Like, does it really need to be on the Mount of Olives? Let's take a look at Numbers 19 and see what the Torah says about the location of this ceremony. It says that this should take place outside the camp. It's talking here about the camp of the Israelites in the wilderness, where they had the Mishkan, the tabernacle, in the center, and the tribes of Israel camped around it. The site of the temple now today corresponds to the site of the Mishkan, and the city of Jerusalem corresponds to the camp, I think everyone agrees that outside the camp means outside the walls of Jerusalem. But that's not the only factor here. Let's take a look at Numbers 19 again. Okay, it says that the priest shall take some of the blood with his finger and sprinkle it 7 times towards the front of the tent of meeting. So you have 2 factors here. You have that it must be outside the camp, outside Jerusalem. You also have the blood must be sprinkled toward the temple, meaning the priest must be facing the temple and deliberately sprinkling the blood towards it. The entrance to the temple was from the eastern side. You would enter it from the east and go towards the west. To the east of the Temple Mount, there's a deep valley. And on the other side is the Mount of Olives. This means that there's only one place where it is physically possible to both be outside the camp and to see the side of the temple in order to sprinkle the blood. And this is on the Mount of Olives. So I don't know, maybe I should make like a Venn diagram or something of this. Can we get, oh wow, that was fast. Take a look at this. The only place there is the Mount of Olives, and that's it. In addition to this, let's go back to point 3 of the Temple Institute statement, and they give a few additional reasons why this was an invalid ceremony. The heifer that was chosen, the overall color was red, but it was nevertheless the most invalid and unkosher of the heifers in our possession. Why? Its tail was damaged and it had a defect. Also, the priestly garments worn by the Cohen conducting the practice exercise were not consecrated. Next, I want to talk about what was done with the ashes after the practice run. Let's go back to this statement, and they talk about how the ashes were collected. And you can see by the way the Temple Institute treated the ashes after the burning that they viewed this as a practice run, not as the real deal. They say, for this reason, the ashes were mostly left by us in place without any care on our part. We did collect samples of the ashes by people who are tamei mate, impure due to contact with the corpse, and are therefore rendered ineligible for performing the mitzvah, only for the purpose of checking whether the equipment we have is suitable for the task, and important lessons were learned in this regard as well. In any case, all the ashes are completely ineligible. In an interview with End Time on October 21st, Stinson explains how he collected the ashes.
Now, what happened was Rabbi Itzhak Mamo asked the Temple Mountain Institute to bring some people and collect the first ashes. Mm-hmm. So they collected the very first ashes, and they have those. And then after that, there were still ashes left. And so he allowed us to go out and collect the remainder of the ashes. Mm-hmm. So I have those. As a matter of fact, I've kind of put them in little baggies so we can start getting a few around for people that are interested.
Now I want to talk about what these ashes are being used for by Stinson and his group. After the Temple Institute posted their clarification on Facebook, they received a very interesting question. Someone asked, "The man I saw online holding what he said were the ashes also claimed said ashes have carried out miracles, i.e. curing blindness." The Temple Institute responds, "This is precisely why we posted the clarification. The man you saw online was not speaking the truth. The ashes produced are not purifying ashes and cannot perform any miracles." And here's Adam King again on Timcast talking about how the ashes are healing people.
And these get put into a clay jar and then sprinkled on people in a healing ritual. And it removes the impurity of death and allows for people to heal. So since this started, they have been sprinkling on people. There was a man with Alzheimer's who just started remembering everything, sight to the blind. There's some real miracles that have happened in the last month since this thing has gone down. But the ashes, just like I have a little bag, there was 10.5 gallons of ashes. And this is only a dime bag full. And these ashes have been disseminated. They're here to stay. They will never be found. So many people have them.
Okay, and here's Byron Stinson talking about how the ashes are healing people. This was on Faith and Friction. I think this was posted November 3rd.
Bottom line, we have these ashes, and they have shown that they have power to convict us. My family, we did the ceremony, we did the sprinkling. It struck my wife, myself, my daughter, all with deep repentance. We went to separate rooms and really looked at ourselves and really recommitted ourselves to the Lord. And more than that, we really feel like was some healing that was happening. So we even saw that happening to us. So the ashes are real, and the ceremony was a real ceremony.
So he says the ashes are real, they're healing people. He goes on, let's play some more.
For sure, I know the July 1st date was picked by God, used by God, and we have ashes on earth for the first time in 2,000 years that are strong and effective. And we have people that are starting to use them and sprinkle with them.
Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz, a reporter for Israel 365, did a couple of videos on this. And in one of them, he calls out Stinson for trying to use these ashes for healing. And Stinson responded to him on a Facebook post on October 21st. He says, "As far as me as a Gentile using them in my home, we wanted to draw closer to Hashem. And that is the outcome of sprinkling the ash. It was not to have a healing. We were shocked and surprised about that. But since it happened, we feel it our responsibility to report what happened." So he wasn't expecting these ashes to heal people. I mean, it's not like we have a video of Stinson and King from a year and a half ago discussing how they're going to use these ashes to heal people. What? This just in. We have a video from a year and a half ago of Stinson and King discussing how they're going to use these ashes to heal people.
Dude, mark my words. The moment that this happens, people will wake up from their comas. People who are sick that couldn't walk are going to stand. People who couldn't see are going to be given sight again. There's going to be miraculous healings all around the world because it's the opposite of death. You know, and as a sign from God, this is what God is coming here to do. It's not satanic. It's beautiful. It's going to heal the world.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
That was from the Adam King Show on April 3rd, 2024. On another episode, he actually asked the cows about it.
All right, so tell me, like, what do you think is going to happen right afterwards, you know? Because I was telling people that, like, your ashes are going to make people wake up from their comas and stuff. Like, there's going to be, like, massive healing because of you.
King also asked Stinson whether the ceremony could just be done in secret. And Stinson had a very interesting answer.
What needs to happen for the red heifer? They can't just do it in secret and then have the...
Well, you're not going to do it in secret because it's on the Mount of Olives, and nothing in secret happens on the Mount of Olives.
Well, obviously.
So there you go. It must be on the Mount of Olives. Not on the Mount of Olives, not real. So what's the bottom line? I think it's best summed up by point number 5 on the Temple Institute's statement. Anyone who claims otherwise, that the heifer was kosher and the ashes produced from it are kosher for the purposes of purification, is mistaken and misleading, either intentionally or unintentionally. Now, there's another thing that I'd like to clear up, and that's that you often hear people say that we need the red heifer in order to build the temple or in order to restart the sacrifices. And that is not entirely true. In fact, there are many things we can do today without the red heifer. For example, we could restart the daily sacrifices. We could bring the Korban Pesach, the Passover sacrifice, without the red heifer. So what's really holding us back? I mean, it's really two things. One, as shocking as it may be, is the government of the state of Israel, the Jewish state. They arrest people who try to do these things. The second thing goes along with it. It's the lack of will of the Jewish people in the land of Israel to completely keep the Torah and do these commandments. But this is changing, and this must change. And I'm here to keep you updated about it. So be sure you keep watching my videos.